I'm an American-born citizen. I've lived in this country for 64 years. I have grandparents that emigrated to this country from Portugal, Ireland, and Canada. In my lifetime, there have been 12 presidents, both from the Republican and Democratic Party.
Little did we know that this person, Donald Trump, who is beyond selfish, always looking out for himself, probably a malignant narcissist.
There have been many questions raised prior to his inauguration, and in the last 2 to 3 weeks since he has been in office, he's been very contradictory, argumentative, rude.
And Donald Trump, in my eyes, is obviously a liar, and he lied 1,000 times. It started the first time when he saw the 1,000 people in New Jersey, which from that moment he should have been impeached already, so nobody should have let him go forward. And he did go forward, and from that moment on, he's using tactic, and the tactics that he's using are very bad tactics. One of them that he's using religion, and from the minute he got elected, he started using religion stronger and stronger, and used the weakness of the people in the middle of the country that cannot get help with his systems and his ideas.
It's just very frightening and scary to see the power that he has and what he's trying to do.
When he starts putting in people who are racists and totally inexperienced in what they will be doing, I started getting very afraid that these people were going to do pretty horrible things in this country. The school systems, in the medical, everything. The other half of it is what gives me a lot of hope, that there's resistance coming out from everywhere.
People in this country are going to start losing some of their rights.
And I think it's probably by design. He's trying to make people afraid.
He is acting like a fascist.
We have a president now who says, I love the uneducated. I love stupid people.
Doing things that are appropriate for him and personal friends, and not for the country, not for the country at all. I know the hopes of the people were to get someone in there that would shake things up and change the way things have been going. But he's not doing that. He's letting his own people down. Many of those that have voted for him are scratching their head and wondering why. What's this all about? What's going on with this guy?
I am trying to figure out what is actually happening in this country.
Everybody wants a quick answer. Everybody wants to know, how do I get this done and sweep it out of the way? You take the short route, you get a short solution, and it comes back and it stabs you.
You know, when they talk about the world, that it's going to be 10 billion to 25 billion, I've never seen any business in my life that you started by saying it's going to cost me $10 or $25 to get there. Or, you know, it never works like this. If you do something, it must be thought beforehand.
If I could get people to spend $1 million a day on education, what would that do? I don't want to indoctrinate our kids today. I don't want to say, take that $1 million a day and put it into telling children that the president is bad. If I say the president is bad and he's 3 weeks into office and I tell you what to think about that, I'm as big a hypocrite as I think he is. But we don't need stupid people. We don't need the uneducated. And if you want to spend your dollars, spend it not telling people what to think, but teaching them how.
You know, my father used to always say that most of the wars, or all of the wars, he said, were fought because of people having disagreements of religion. And I do believe that that's true. And I don't think you can win anything. You can't gain anything, and you won't gain anything by choosing hate.
The Trump regime trying to basically do their fascist thing.
They vote for their pensions, their medical coverage, and yet they've taken away from Social Security. People who have worked all their lives put the money into Social Security so it could help them in their retirement years. And that's being depleted. That has come from the selfishness of parties, both parties. They don't work together. They don't seem to try to choose what's right for the people. It's a contest between them. Who's right, who's wrong, who's the big man, who's the little man.
Creating this atmosphere of fear, which is so unfounded. There are very, very, very few immigrants that have caused any trouble here compared to the homegrown people that we've got here. So I think that it's just really short-sighted to be focusing on this when there are so many important things that we need to be doing in our country to make our country better and to help make the world better.
I question my decisions every day, and I look for the reasons why I think things and the ways I need to improve and the people and the changes in this world that I need to incorporate.
Where is our humanity? Where's the humanity gone? And you know, it's a bad situation.
I really want you, President Trump, to turn and care for the people of this country, and show us that you can lead us in a right direction.
Restrictions on immigrants coming into the country from 7 countries that didn't carry his businesses. By the way, countries that had his businesses he didn't touch.
When you push everybody around when you get elected, no reason for them not to push you back the same. So everything he did, he creates to himself. And also I think the Japanese president is smart to kiss his butt because he knows exactly how to control Donald, and he just proved it. So he just became very nice to Donald, and then Donald does what more or less he wants.
But if I don't try to teach somebody else how to think for themselves, if I try to indoctrinate them and say, this is what you think, this is what you do, then we get the short term. We get what we have in politics now, and we don't get an intellectual society.
But there's got to be a better way of doing it. I'm not a politician. I don't have the answers. But there's got to be a better way than this.
Going against the Constitution is being sidelined. Had the Muslim ban, and that's also goes against the Constitution in a couple of ways. I think the First Amendment, the 14th Amendment, and the Fifth Amendment all were violated.
You know, there are families, there are children, there are people here who have contributed strongly to our society, embraced our cultural diversity and our religious diversity in this country. And we've learned from each other and touched each other with insights that we might not normally have had. And he wants to end all of that.
I don't know, unethical. Scapegoating people, and it's just a shameful. He is a domestic enemy of the Constitution. He didn't even consult with a lawyer when he passed the Muslim ban. No concern of that it was trampling the Constitution. If our Constitution doesn't hold, then we have no more democracy, and we're just become a fascist Nazi state.
So, how did we get here?
So I really, actually, at this point, it seems like the Electoral College has no purpose. It just proved its uselessness.
And hopefully he's going to be impeached beforehand. And things that I saw in my house from the beginning, as a new immigrant in America, I know about checks and balances, and Donald doesn't.
I don't know how people have gotten it into their mindset that white privilege is that. We all came from immigrants, all of us. And we all need to extend and be kind to each other and support each other. We can fight in a kind, compassionate, nonviolent way for what we believe is right, so that people are all equal and treated fairly.
What I'm hoping is that the fight from our side stays peaceful, stays compassionate, stays understanding. We don't want to get angry and violent. That's what the other side wants to do.
So when I look at the country and I see all of the cruelty and I see all of the destruction harming the earth, harming our country, harming the people all over the world, I'm sick. It makes me sick. I feel like our language, the English language, is being used in a way that I can't understand anymore. All of a sudden, the word Christian that used to mean something means nothing now, means somebody who's hateful. We've taken words like woman, and it doesn't even mean anything anymore.
As a woman in the United States, I've actually felt more fear and persecution from the Catholic Church than I have from anyone of the Muslim faith. I don't know too many people that are Muslim, but the ones that have known, I've never felt like a fear or any hatred for them. And what's going on now is really, really horrific. What's happening in Syria. Sometimes you can't get the images out of your head. The little boy who drowned on the beach. It's very disturbing.
Racism in this country has been going on for a long time. And the violence in so many different ways against women has been going on for a long time. And now people are getting in the streets, making phone calls, doing things that really challenges it.
We've taken the word Muslim and made it turn into terrorist. We've taken immigrant and made it be something ugly rather than a human being that wants a place to call their own, to live, to be free.
The idea of refusing immigrants, especially from war zones, is absurd. And it's wonderful that the justice system overturned his ban. So coming from a lot of different places, I see opposition and a growth in understanding of what needs to happen.
Being such a misogynist, a demagogue, berating women, berating people of color, Muslims.
Then my religious preference is Muslim because I am a Muslim. And I'll tell them that. And if I have to go to a mosque to show that, then I'll go to a mosque to show that. Because what's happening right now in religion and the state of politics is terrible.
I grew up thinking Nixon was a horrible president. Bushes were awful, and I still think they're awful. But this feels completely dangerous. It feels like
that now we are all Muslims. And when I say that, I'm not pretending to be a Muslim. If anybody asks me if it's ever an issue, then I can't say anymore that I'm a Christian or that I was a Christian. It's important. It's really important now.
the government, I don't think they're caring or listening at all.
Our politicians, both Democratic and Republican, they haven't for many years seemed to be voting for what's good for the people. They vote for what's good for them.
People disappoint me. My kids disappoint me. I think one thing, they do another thing. But I have worked so hard to raise them and to respect them and to make them challenge themselves in the same way. that when I look at the overall product, I am so proud. Now, I have friends, I have more political friends today than I've ever had in my life. And my friends are raising me up and bringing me into these acts of protest and these demonstrations and trying to channel our energy and do what we can. We're lost. In a lot of ways, we're lost, and we don't know what we can do.
Even his campaign was very destructive, raising doubt and anger and fear among the U.S. citizens.
Our president, he probably has never even read the Constitution and doesn't know what it is.
Knowing that as soon as he's sworn in, he was going to be in violation of the Constitution's emoluments clause, which says that you can't have like a kind of financial ties to foreign powers.
And so he's upset. He's dangerous for the world. He's dangerous for America. He's, everything you've got with Russia, it's weird.
I believe that our country's attitude, selfishness, and lack of respect for each other has come to where we are today.
Somebody wants the country to fail, and we're all going to fail along with it. Nobody's fixing what needs to be fixed. And that's the state of the country to me.